Today, I'll tell you about the Slavic holiday that takes place on the shortest night of the year. The night of Ivan Kupala is the perfect time for magical rituals, ceremonies of love, and marriage. Since ancient times, Slavic girls have eagerly awaited Kupala Night to perform special rite, whispering spells with the help of water, fire, or herbs. By harnessing the power of the natural elements and even the mystical energy of healing baths, they believed they could attract their beloved and rekindle fading feelings. So let's dive into it, step by step. June 21st marks the day of the summer solstice. This is Kupala Day, the great celebration of the Slavs. They believed that on this day, the youthful spring sun, the young god Yarilo, gave way to the mighty summer sun, the man Kupala. The main purpose of the celebration is to give thanks to nature and the higher powers for abundance and well-being, as well as to honor the history and traditions of the Slavic peoples. Most Kupala rituals take place at night. Among the Slavs, it was considered essential to bathe in rivers or lakes before sunset on the eve of the holiday. They believed that from this day on, all evil spirits would leave the water, so it was safe to swim. Usually, this bathing was a communal event. If natural bodies of water weren't available, people would wash in bathhouses instead. It was believed that the water on Kupala Day had healing and magical properties. The Slavs believed that on this holiday, water could befriend fire. The symbol of this union was the bonfires lit on the riverbanks on the evening before Kupala Night. Young people would gather huge amounts of brushwood from all around the village and build a tall pyramid-shaped fire. In the center stood a pole, topped with a wheel, a tar barrel, and a skull of a horse or cow. Purifying bonfires are one of the main features of Kupala Night. They were lit in the evening and often burnt until morning. In various traditions, there are accounts that the Kupala fire had to be kindled with a living flame, meaning it was started by friction. Embers from the sacred fire were then taken home to light a new fire in the household hearth. All the women of the village were expected to come to the fire. If someone didn't show up, she was immediately suspected of witchcraft, and in those times, being labeled a witch was extremely dangerous. Around the bonfire, people danced in circles, sang Kupala songs, and most importantly, jumped over the fire. The Slavs believed that happiness and good fortune would come to the one who jumped the highest over the Kupala flames. Girls jumped over the fire to purify themselves and protect against illnesses, curses, and evil spells, as well as to keep rusalki, water spirits, from attacking them during the year. A girl who didn't jump over the fire was called a witch. She would be doused with water and whipped with nettles as someone who had failed to receive the cleansing power of the Kupala fire. In addition to bonfires, in some regions on Kupala Night, people would set wheels and tar barrels on fire, then roll them down hills or carry them on poles, rituals closely tied to the symbolism of the sun's turning point. Kupala Night is shrouded in mystery, with a strong sense of connection to the other world. It was believed that on this night, all kinds of spirits and dark forces would awaken and cause mischief. People had to be wary of mischief from Domovoy, Leshy, and rusalki. By the way, we already filmed videos about these mythical creatures on our channel. Check them out. To protect themselves from evil forces during this enchanted night, Eastern Slavs would place scythes, pitchforks, knives, and specific tree branches into the windows and doorways of homes and barns. It was believed that to protect oneself from witch attacks, people should place nettles on doorsteps and windowsills. Girls would always gather warm wood, as it was thought that witches and rusalki feared its scent. On Kupala Night, young men and women chose partners and performed symbolic wedding rituals. They would jump over the bonfire together, holding hands. If their hands didn't part during the jump, it was seen as a sign that their bond would be strong and lasting. Couples also exchanged flower wreaths, searched for the mythical fern blossom, and bathed in the morning dew. In pre-Christian times, young Slavs had no taboo against premarital sex. A young man and woman who met on Kupala Night could freely have sex as a way of expressing mutual affection. It's worth noting that before the adoption of Christianity, a girl could become pregnant not just before marriage, but even before engagement. In fact, her chances of getting married often increased, as the ability to bear children was considered the most valuable quality in a woman at the time. On Kupala Night, all the girls loved to tell fortunes using flower wreaths. They would place the wreaths on the river and watch how they floated. If it drifted away and disappeared from sight without being pushed back to shore, it was seen as a sign of happiness and a long life. The wreath was an essential part of Kupala Night. It was made from wild herbs and flowers. Each plant was believed to give the wreath its own special powers, and the method of weaving added to its magic. Girls often used periwinkle, basil, geranium, fern, rose, blackberry, and branches of oak or birch, among many others. It was thrown into the water, burned in the bonfire, tossed into a tree, or taken to a cemetery. On Kupala Night, ritual mischief was common among the Slavs, mostly carried out by the youth. They would steal firewood and carts, block doors, smear windows, and play similar tricks. These behaviors symbolically signaled to evil spirits that disorder had already taken place, so Leshys, rusalki, and other beings should move on and cause trouble elsewhere, far from this village. Special Kupala legends were also connected to the fern. Slavs believed that only once a year, on the night of Kupala, the fern would bloom. This magical, non-existent flower was said to grant extraordinary power to the one who found and kept it. According to legend, the person who possessed the fern flower would become clairvoyant, gain the ability to understand the language of animals, uncover hidden treasures no matter how deep they were buried, become invisible, and take on any form. In reality, of course, ferns never bloom, so the fern flower is a mythical plant, part of ancient folklore. Ivan Kupala Day is rich in customs and legends connected to the plant world. Greenery was used as a universal protective charm. It was believed to guard against illnesses and epidemics, the evil eye, curses, witches, sorcerers, evil spirits, the walking dead, lightning, storms, fires, snakes, predator animals, harmful insects, and even worms. At the same time, contact with fresh greenery was seen as a magical act that ensured fertility and success in breeding livestock and poultry, as well as good harvests of grains and garden crops. It was believed that Ivan Kupala Day was the best time to gather healing herbs, as plants received their greatest power from the sun and the earth on this day. Some herbs were collected at night, others during the morning before noon, and some specifically during the early morning dew. Special incantations were recited while gathering medicinal plants. According to tradition, herbs picked on Kupala Day had the strongest healing properties, especially if they were gathered by the elderly or by children. The unique phenomenon of this holiday is that it's still celebrated in some form to this day. Yes, it's no longer as widespread as it once was, but many traditions have been preserved, especially among the Eastern Slavs. This is most visible in Belarus, Western Ukraine, and the Zakarpattia region, where the celebrations continue every year and attract many tourists. Today, anyone can take part in the rituals of the holiday and experience ancient Slavic customs for themselves. If you know about any ancient holiday celebrated in your country, share them in the comments, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Link is in the description. There is also a link to our Patreon in the description. If you're able to support the channel, we'll be truly grateful. Let me know what other topics about Slavic culture, history, and tradition you'd like to see. Thank you for being here, and see you in the next videos.